I'm just really, really proud of our effort. So, for me, we can talk stats and all that stuff. That's great. For me, I thought maybe one of the more complete effort games that we've played this year. In my mind, I just thought we defended with purpose. I thought we rebounded with purpose, and I thought we shared the ball the way I want to share the ball. So for me, I just thought we were here today, and I thought the crowd was awesome, just awesome. And I think that's why you come here, right? That's why you play at JMU. Is like that's what you're here for, is to play in front of a crowd like that. So I'm very appreciative to the marketing team, our admin for doing Duke Dog Reading Day. I know that's a lot of work, and that was a huge. I mean, it's just we played with more bounce. I don't know if it was the crowd. I don't know if it's second to last home game, but we played with more bounce, and so I was really proud of our effort today. And I thought Susha, Kiki, right, Caroline, they're gonna be the headliners, but Steph Odekirk played outstanding today and deserves a lot of credit. Just rebound effort and making the right play. I was really proud of Steph.
You mentioned defensive effort, and I'm sure they got it right, but look at 7 steals doesn't seem like enough. So
Doesn't.
Because the amount of loose balls and things you guys are forcing, is that where you're at your best, is when things get disrupted like that? You can get some breakaway baskets and things.
I agree. And we haven't played like that a lot, and I think a little bit of that is the zone, because you can gamble a little bit more when you got somebody behind you and somebody's behind you. But when we watched, it's crazy. I can't even remember who we played 2 days ago. When we watched that game, it was like they were getting on loose balls and we weren't. And to me, it's like we got to get after it. And I thought Jamia was one, Susha was another that like really made that change from watching film. And so I was impressed. But yeah, that's how I want to play. Our defense has to lead us, whether it's zone or man. Our defense has to lead us into our offense, because I want to play with tempo, and when you're getting stops and rebounds or steals, you're able to play faster. I think it's easier to run offense when the defense isn't set. Now, I don't want to play as fast as Troy. I don't want to play as fast as Arkansas State wants to play, but I want to play with tempo, because I think defenses are really good locking into Kiki when we're in the half court, or locking into Peyton or Susha, whatever. Trouble, Kurt.
I think everything's dead in River City here. Sean, setting the tempo in this game, what did you do? How did you try to establish the tempo for your team?
Yeah, well, you want me to repeat the question for the people in there?
Sure.
How did we set the tempo with our team? So we talk about it every game, and we say play our tempo. So, like, regardless of if you're playing Georgia State and they want to walk it up, or Louisiana who wants to walk it up, or a team like Arkansas State or Troy, it's like, no. No one's going to rush us, or no one's going to make us play slower. We're going to play the way we want to play. That all starts with defense. But I thought the pace of the game early was fast. And it was like, okay, are we going to be able to keep doing this? And I do think we have the luxury now, because I think we have a deep bench. I don't use them all the time. But in the third quarter, that's where Amira came in. It was like, I don't know, Kiki and Kobe and Peyton are looking, and even Jamia was breathing heavy. So it was like, Amira, come give us 5 minutes of kind of like mayhem. She causes mayhem a lot. She's bouncy all over the place. And she did that. She was ready to do that. But the tempo for me always has to be, it's not reckless tempo, but it's not walking up the floor. It's somewhere in the middle of that. And Caroline's in charge of that. I thought she played a good game today statistically. I don't think it was her best floor game by any means, but she's in charge of that, and I just don't want to ever be forced into tempo. I want to play the way we want to play.
How did you force Arkansas State out of its tempo?
Yeah. I think the 2-2-1 was really good to us. And I don't want to say slowed them down, but it didn't early. And I hit the panic button for a second, and I pulled it off. It was like, wait, I don't know if this is going to work here, because they were just hammering it. But I thought we went back to it and we settled into just plugging it where it needed to be plugged, and it certainly slowed them down. I think think the zone also did that too. When I don't know what the breakdown would be, and Turk is going to tell me when we get up there, but our possessions guarding man or guarding zone against this particular team, I didn't think we guarded them very well in man. So thank God we have the zone and the tempo press into the zone ready, because I think do you win the game without it? But that was really good for us, and I thought we did a good job making them make passes. And now again, they're not playing their tempo,
right?
Which is the whole key.
You touched on Steph, but I'm going to talk about her more because 9 rebounds is pretty impressive. And I mean, it just kind of felt like, Kiki talked about it, it just kind of felt like she was just always there.
Yeah.
And even if she didn't really score much, and sometimes sometimes that can reflect a performance, but 9 rebounds is still something she was.
Yeah, but what made me so proud about her is that there's been times throughout her career, like Steph, and I give her a lot of credit for the position I've put her in right now, coming off the bench. And if you notice, I give her a little cup of coffee and I give Claire a little cup of coffee, and it's like, to me, it's like which one is fitting this game better. And I worried little bit about the pace and athleticism today with Steph, but clearly she got an offensive rebound like 10 seconds into the game. It was like, okay, all right, show me something. And we've had times with Steph where it's like, hey, I know you can score. I know that's a shot you can take, but let's make the next one. And we've done that for almost 3 years. And we've done it with a lot of people. Jamia, same way. It's like, yeah, if you're good at basketball, you think you can make every shot, right? But it's like, no, there's an arm right there. Go one more. And so today, she was phenomenal with that. And so the rebounding to me, huge check. Huge reason why I played her over her regular minutes. Number 2 was, we're going against the 1-3-1 early, I think first quarter, second quarter, I'm not sure. They skip it to her. She's open enough. Now her feet aren't set, but I've seen her on a different day where she's not as focused, shoot that. And probably not make it because your feet aren't set, it's a low pass, it's not going to work. Instead, she gathers, she skips it across to Peyton, and one of the best three-point shooters in the country gets an open 3 because of that. So, like, those 2 things for me was like, okay, right? Steph's listening, Steph's trying to play a role for us. Whereas, I watched her play a high school game. She was 8 for 8, didn't miss a shot, and I know she has that in her. But there's a role for her. There's a role for Claire too, and we're going to need Claire. There's a role for Amira. We're going to need Amira. But today I thought Steph did almost the maximum in her role. Now I wanted to smack her upside the back of her head for that pass to Jamia across half court late in the game. It was like, no, don't do that. Just go easy play right here. But maybe the one mistake for Steph for me.
Talking a little bit about kind of how you decided to put everybody in lineup today. I know that's been a talked about topic with you the last 4 or 5-ish games now. But you talked on Thursday about trying to figure out what you're going to do with 5 people for one position and 3 positions. What came to the decision today?
Yeah, it's hard. Again, the pace was not a concern for me early. It was like, I got to get them in and out. So when I'm getting them in and out, it's easier, right? I went with Steph first instead of Claire. And again, when she got to the offensive glass. But in the end, it's like you're watching the game with a feel of who's helping in what way, right? And I could talk about that for an hour. But right today, Peyton isn't totally on fire, right? Is it better to have another ball handler on the floor with Jamia? Jamia's a little bit better defender, right? I thought Kiki was good today, 22-8, like just good, 22-8-4, just good. She was just good. But last game we used Anna a lot more, right? Susha today to me was awesome. She was defending. She was going to work in the post. They're playing her one-on-one in the post. Like, to me, it was like, if you can keep playing, I'm going to keep playing you because you're such a great post presence. So, to your point, I don't have one simple answer for you. There's just so many different things that go into it, and the feel of the game. Like, when we went to Europe, okay, this was 4 years ago now, I think, and I let each assistant coach a game because you're in August, right? I'd love to take a break from standing up on the sideline sometime, right? And so Ashley Langford was like, well, how do you do substitutions? And I said, well, you can write it down if you want. And so I showed her how I write it down. But once you write it down, it goes to the wayside real quick in a game, right? You got this plan, but it's like, oh, wow, such and such isn't here today. Or such and such is balling today. Like, there goes my script. You you might be able to script your first quarter. After that, there's no script for it. I think it's a feel on maybe the third quarter. You can start the third quarter kind of similarly, but it's a feel for who's playing well and who's hot, and that's the, I guess, tougher part of the job in coaching. But it's fine with me, and I like where we are. I think like Kobe had a quiet day, but not a bad day. I just thought it was a quiet day for her. So anyway. But yeah, there's no clear cut answer of like this was my formula today. It's feel as I go.
Maybe I just don't hear it, but you know, Kiki shoots more free throws than the other team. And that's all that's right. And like I don't hear people complain about that much.
I think they.
He gets all the calls. Like,
No, I think they do. I think they do because I don't know this, but this is part of what I think is that like when we play a team, I can send video, right? I can send video on Taryn Ward or like what I think, you know, how like it was a big thing when Deladon was here because like you touch Deladon, it's a foul, and that's Tina Martin was sending the opposite stuff. It was like they're hammering her here, and like so now we're sending, hey, every time you touch her, it's a foul. She's sending, so I think it's a topic. Because she's, top 5 in free throws attempted and free throws made. John confirms. I like that. So I do think, like, the Sun Belt coaches, I think there are Sun Belt coaches out there that are like, man, she gets all these calls. I think I can count 5 calls today. Like, why didn't she get that call? Like, she's getting hammered. And can I say that, Kurt? But I thought really on 5 different occasions. And so it's like, but she draws 8 fouls, and the foul differential is 18-8. So like, I don't always know that during the game. I just see what I see, and it's like that to me. They fouled her on the shot. So I do think it's a possibility that coaches are saying something about it, just maybe not publicly.
I was talking more about fans, but but the question I was getting to was how did she get so good at getting to the free throw line?
That's all her. I mean, it's not something I ever taught her. She had that coming in. It's just, we coached a kid in Evansville, Matt Webster. He had the same thing. I just like, it's a knack. And she's incredible at it, and she just finds a way. You know what I mean? And it's not something I taught her. I've tried to teach her, like, the face guard and, like, wrap them up and do all this stuff. But, like, driving to the basket, I mean, she knows how to draw it. Dip the shoulder a little bit and react. But same thing with Webster at Evansville. I mean, you guys won't know him, but he had an unbelievable way of drawing fouls. And so, you know, I'd love her to be 11 for 15, and I think she would be too. But for me, getting 22 and 8 on 5 field goals is pretty impressive. Fans, not coaches. I like that. Sorry. Kurt, come on. Cut me off, man. Cut me off.
So you guys have one more home game left this
Mhm.
season. You talked about people showing up, supporting the team and everything, but you know when you go on the road for another week and you only got one more and you close out the season, you know how are you kind of balancing everything at this point? Because your last home stand is play at home, sleep in your own bed, re-energize and go again. It's over.
No, I mean, really, and you won't believe me, but like, it is what it is. And it's like, it's such a routine now. Like, yeah, I'll relax tonight, you know. Tomorrow I'll start watching film, you know, and then Monday it's like, here we go. And so we'll do the same thing next Monday, and then it'll be a little bit off because it's a shorter week with the final game, being on Friday. But that's just how I see it. It's like, I'll focus on one thing, and it's Texas State. And getting our team ready to go, because I think we're trending in the right direction. But you got to go back on the road, and the road is not easy. I'm not trying to build the road up to be like something insurmountable, but you got to play well, and you got to play with the heart we played with. I thought the last 2 games. But yeah, I can't do the grand scheme. It's one at a time for me.